Welcome back to Outlaw Creations. Did I make the biggest mistake of my life buying this Colorado mountain property? When I first found this land, I saw incredible views, towering pine trees, fresh mountain air, and a place where I could build something special. What I didn't fully understand was just how much rock was hiding beneath the surface. Every time I dig, I find more rock. Every trench becomes a challenge. Every project seems to take twice as long as expected. There have been days when I've stood here looking at another massive boulder and wondered if I made a huge mistake. But before I answer that question, let's talk about why Colorado is known for something that perfectly describes what I'm dealing with every single day: the Rocky Mountains. Colorado is famous around the world for its rugged mountain landscape. When most people picture Colorado, they imagine snow-covered peaks, deep forests, crystal clear streams, wildlife, and endless mountain views. The Rocky Mountains are part of the identity of Colorado, and they have been for centuries. The name Rocky Mountains came from early explorers who traveled through this region. French explorers referred to the mountain range as Montagne Rocheuse, which translates to Rocky Mountains. It was a fitting name because the landscape was dominated by exposed rock formations, granite cliffs, boulder fields, and rugged terrain. These mountains weren't formed overnight. The geology of Colorado stretches back hundreds of millions of years. Powerful forces deep within the earth pushed massive sections of rock upward. Over time, glaciers carved valleys, rivers cut through mountains, and weather slowly shaped the landscape we see today. The result is one of the most beautiful mountain ranges in the world, but that beauty comes with a price. Those same rocks that create breathtaking scenery also create challenges for anyone trying to build here, and that's exactly what I've discovered. When I first walked this property, I was focused on the possibilities. I imagined where structures would go. I pictured roads, building sites, and future projects. I saw the views and the trees. What I didn't see was what was hiding underground. At first, everything seemed normal. Then the digging started. The first few scoops looked promising. Then the bucket hit rock, then another. Before long, it felt like every shovelful of dirt contained more stone than soil. Some rocks were small enough to move by hand. Others required equipment. And some were so large, they looked like they had been buried here since the beginning of time. Every time I thought I had reached solid ground, I found another layer of rock waiting underneath. It became a running joke. Need a trench? Expect rocks. Need to level ground? Expect rocks. Need to install utilities? Expect rocks. Need to put in a foundation? Definitely expect rocks. At some point, I stopped being surprised. The reality is that much of Colorado mountain property has very little topsoil. In many places, there may only be a few inches or a couple of feet of soil before you hit bedrock or large granite formations. That's great for scenery. Not so great when you're trying to build. There were days when progress felt painfully slow. I'd wake up with a plan for the day, expecting to accomplish a major milestone. Then I'd spend hours dealing with rocks that weren't supposed to be there. Projects that looked simple on paper became much more complicated. Costs increased, schedules slipped, equipment worked harder, and frustration started to build. I think anyone who has ever built in the mountains understands exactly what I'm talking about. The mountains don't care about your schedule. The mountains don't care about your budget. The mountains have been here for millions of years, and they aren't moving just because you have plans. There were definitely moments when I questioned my decision. I would look at a freshly uncovered boulder the size of a small car and think to myself, what was I thinking? Why didn't I buy flatter land? Why didn't I choose property with deep soil and easy access? Why am I fighting solid rock every step of the way? Those questions crossed my mind more than once, but then something interesting would happen. And I'd find myself standing there staring at one of the most beautiful views imaginable. Suddenly, the frustration wasn't quite as important. That's one of the things I've learned about Colorado mountain property. The beauty has a way of putting everything into perspective. You can spend all day fighting rocks and feeling frustrated, then you look up You see the mountains stretching into the distance. You hear the wind moving through the pine trees. You spot wildlife moving through the forest. And you're reminded why people dream about living in places like this. The challenges are real, but so are the rewards. Over time, I've realized something important. The very thing that makes building difficult is also what makes this property special. If these mountains weren't made of rock, they wouldn't look the way they do. Those granite formations create the dramatic ridges. The boulders create character. The rugged terrain creates incredible views. The exposed rock tells the geological story of Colorado itself. In a strange way, the obstacles and the beauty are connected. You can't have one without the other. That's changed the way I look at this project. Instead of fighting the mountain, I'm learning how to work with it. Instead of trying to force the land to match my plans, I'm adapting my plans to fit the land. And honestly, I think that's the secret to building in places like this. The most successful mountain properties don't conquer the landscape. They become part of it. The mountains set the rules. We simply learn how to work within them. That doesn't mean the challenges disappear. Trust me, they don't. There are still days when I uncover another massive rock and just shake my head. There are still moments when unexpected obstacles appear. There are still times when projects take longer than expected. There are still moments when I wonder what surprise is waiting underground. But now I see those moments differently. Every rock removed represents progress. Every obstacle overcome moves the project forward. Every difficult day becomes part of the story. And one day, when everything is finished, those challenges will be worth remembering. Nobody sees the struggle when they look at a completed project. They see the finished result. They see the views. They see the craftsmanship. They see the beauty of the property. What they don't see are the countless rocks that had to be moved to make it happen. But I'll know, and anyone who has built in the mountains will know, because every mountain project has a story. Every piece of property comes with challenges. Every dream requires effort. The best things rarely come easy. The Rocky Mountains have been challenging people for generations. Miners face them, homesteaders face them, ranchers face them, builders face them, and now I'm facing them too. It's simply part of living in this incredible part of the country. The more time I spend here, the more I appreciate what makes Colorado special. These mountains aren't polished and perfect. They're rugged, they're tough, they're unpredictable, they're beautiful because they're real. And maybe that's why so many people fall in love with them. The mountains demand respect. They challenge you. They test your patience. They force you to adapt. But they also reward you in ways that are hard to describe. You can't put a price on waking up to mountain views. You can't put a price on the peace and quiet. You can't put a price on watching wildlife move through the forest. You can't put a price on standing outside and feeling connected to something much bigger than yourself. Those experiences are what make the hard work worthwhile. So, did I make a mistake buying this property? After all the digging, all the planning, all the unexpected rocks, and all the challenges, my answer is no. I didn't make a mistake. What I did was underestimate what it takes to build in the Rocky Mountains. The mountains don't give up their beauty easily. They make you work for it. They make you earn it. And maybe that's exactly what makes the reward so satisfying. Every challenge teaches a lesson. Every obstacle builds experience. Every rock tells part of the story, a story that began millions of years ago when these mountains were first formed. A story that continues today with every person who chooses to build, work, and live among them. And now that story includes me. The work isn't finished. There are still challenges ahead. There are still plenty of rocks waiting to be discovered, but that's okay, because every step forward brings the vision closer to reality. And when it's all finished, I'll be able to look back and appreciate not just what was built, but everything it took to get there. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you've ever built on rocky property, lived in the mountains, or tackled a project that tested your patience, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you're enjoying following this adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along as we continue transforming this rugged Colorado mountain property into something special. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
There he goes, it's a working man. He's trying to make a living. in what he do. Oh, working out.